Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irene and today I'm sharing a super quick and easy garden project with you, which is an adorable garden fountain which you can make literally in just a day. I want to make a kind of a Zen or a Japanese style garden in this part, and my idea was to make a pathway going through the garden to a water feature. So when I made a hypertufa planters, I'll link the video where I made them down below. I also made a vessel for the water feature and today we'll be installing it at last. Actually, you can use any nice looking vessel here for a similar look. You will also need a bigger vessel to sit under the upper one. This one is for mixing cement actually. The idea is water will flow over the edge of the upper vessel and fall down into the bottom vessel, and a pump will deliver it up again, and that's it basically. A super simple construction. So I'll start with digging a hole. Well, probably it would be better to make it before planting and mulching everything. I had to be very careful in order not to mess it up, and I put all the soil into the buckets and Gary carried it away. The biggest vessel I have is 17 gallons. Well, I think now the hole is big enough and the hardest part is done, and that's not that big. I'm adding some gravel and sand into the hole to level up the bottom and placing the large vessel there. Next, I'll need some structure to hold the upper vessel into place. I've decided to make it out of pieces of rebar. I've had some on hand, but the pieces are long, so I'll have to cut them first. I'm doing this using an angle grinder, making the stalks long enough to sit over the vessel. Actually, this was my first time using an angle grinder. I loved it. Then I'm placing the stalks over the vessel and I'm connecting the stalks together with a thin wire, making a kind of a grill. The hypertufa vessel is quite heavy and will be even heavier once filled with water, so I need a sturdy structure to hold it. I also want to place a layer of chicken wire on top to be able to place smaller stones there. Gary wouldn't let me cut this myself, said the little pieces of wire could hurt me. He's so sweet. I could actually cut it with the wire cutters, but using an angle grinder is way faster. After trying on the wire, I'm filling the bottom vessel with water. And here is the pump. I have no power in the garden, so I'll use a solar pump. And I'm attaching a piece of plastic hose of a suitable diameter to it for delivering water up high. I'm placing the pump into the vessel. It has those little suckers helping it stick to the bottom, and then I've decided to cover the vessel with landscape fabric to avoid leaves and soil getting into the water. You want to leave the vessel as clean as possible, as dirty water may ruin the little pump. I'm cutting the piece I need and covering the vessel. After that, I'm installing the grill and the chicken wire back to place and adding some cobbles and the upper vessel. You want to adjust it to be placed evenly. And finally, catching the sun to make the pump work. Oh, I was so happy once it did. I worried it would be too weak to be able to deliver water to the height I needed. But all is fine so far, and I can continue my work and make the upper part of the feature. Since I'm making a Japanese style fountain, I've decided to make it out of bamboo, and since I already had a couple of bamboo pieces bought for another project long ago and stored in our closet for years, I even didn't have to buy anything. You can also use any pipes or a piece of wood drilled through to hide the hose here. I'm cutting 3 pieces. The upper spout will sit on the 2 upright posts like this. I'm placing it as I like and drawing where I need to cut the tops of the posts. And I'm setting my miter saw to the angle I need and cutting the tops of the posts as well as the edge of the upper spout. I think it will look nicer like this. And to make the spout sit snugly onto the posts, I'm sanding off the tops a bit, using the spout as a guide. This is to make the cuts curvy. I'll also make holes in the bamboo pieces to be able to thread the hose through them. I'll make 2 holes in the upper spout, one to thread the hose and the other one to attach the spout to the post. And I'll also make a hole in one of the posts near the ground level to thread the hose here as well. To make the holes in the bamboo nice and clean, first I'm switching the drill to the reverse mode and drilling a bit like this. The drill bit will kind of cut the circle onto the bamboo surface. And after the upper layer is cut through and will not chip anymore, I'm switching to the normal drilling mode and drilling it through. Here you want to be really careful as not to drill through both sides of the bamboo. And I also need to drill through the bamboo partitions to thread the hose there as well. I'm using a spade drill bit here as I don't have a normal drill bit of a suitable diameter. And to drill out the next partition, I'll use a drill bit extension. Here you can see I'm quite excited about it. At this moment, rain started and we had to finish making the feature the next day. And this was actually good. As it turned out, the black fabric I used was way too thick to let the water go through it freely, and nearly all the water ran away under the bottom vessel during the morning. So I had to disassemble everything and replace it with thinner fabric. I also added a piece of wire to hold the fabric in place. I'm assembling everything back, the grill, the wire, the cobbles and the hypertufa vessel, and finally I'll assemble the bamboo feature. I'm threading the hose through the post and sticking it into the ground to stand upright. Next, I'm threading the hose into the spout. Then I'm sticking the second post into the ground right where I have the second hole in the spout. Here I had to get some help. And to make the spout sit securely onto the posts, I'm placing a small piece of rebar here and inserting it into the hole in the spout. I'm cutting the hose flash to the edge of the spout and pulling it back a bit so the hose couldn't be seen here. And attaching the solar battery to the pump wire. But the pump wouldn't work. The sun was going out and hiding again, and I tried my best to catch the sun with the battery, but it just didn't work.
Да, или он излом не может пройти. Но мы вроде проверяли. Да, я видел, он плюнул. Ну нет, это...
What a relief! It works. All that is left is to place the battery up high to catch the sun better. I'm detaching two pieces of the fence to hide the wire behind it. I actually chose this pump model specially to be able to hide all the wires and have the perfect look with no pump seam. Gary installed a long piece of rebar for placing the battery there, and he's placed it really high as the wire would allow. I'm connecting the fence back, and here is how it turned out. I love this little fountain so much. It's fantastic. You know, there's something magical about a water feature in a garden, and I always wanted to have one. That nice water sound, it's so relaxing to come here and listen to water murmuring gently. I can understand clearly why Japanese gardens are used for meditation. And the pathway which I made in my previous video accentuates the feature perfectly, just as I wanted to.
Well, I hope you liked today's project. Please let me know what you think of it down below. I'm going to share more DIYs for this part of my garden, so if you're interested, stay tuned. And thanks for being here. We'll see you in my next video. Bye!